I'm here, in the middle of Saigon, inside Ben Thanh Market. I'm walking between the stalls, but I'm not just walking through a market. I'm moving through history. Ben Thanh is not simply a place of commerce. This market was built for relations of exploitation, for unequal trade. It was a space shaped by French colonialism. Production was here, labor was here, but money flowed toward the Central Europe. The division was clear: who would profit and who would be exhausted. The colonial center was enriched while life on the periphery was consumed.
A little
Chile,
yes.
Like the relationship between colonizer and colonized, the structure of this market was unequal. I feel this while walking, not necessarily in the walls, but in the logic that shaped the space. The French planned this city with straight avenues, controllable spaces, and clear boundaries. Everything had to be in its place so that everything could be monitored.
Ben Thanh.
Ben Thanh was part of that plan. Yet space doesn't always obey power. What we see today is not disorder. It's a counterplan. It's the logical response to a one-sided and unequal colonial economy. The stalls overflow, the street moves inside, and the inside spills back into the street. Homes, shops, sidewalks, they blend into one another. The colonial city demands boundaries. This market refuses them.
Can go anyway.
An architectural order is not collapsing here. Another order is asserting itself. Postcolonial theory calls this resistance, but this resistance is not heroic or symbolic. It's everyday. Political scientist James Scott calls this everyday resistance. People here don't accept the space imposed on them as it is. They bend it, reshape it, and claim it according to their needs. Bodies speak here. Sounds collide, languages mix, smells breathe. Colonial order demands sterility and silence. This market is low. There is, however, a contradiction that cannot be ignored. Postcolonialism today has also put this disorder up for sale. It wants to break the molds of the past and sell them back in the name of freedom. Be free, be different, be local, but buy. Freedom becomes the core spirit of consumerism.
Hello!
Resistance turns into aesthetics. Disorder becomes a brand. This is why the world is at a breaking point. Old colonialism was harsh and direct. Today's postcolonialism is softer, more flexible, and more seductive. I stop in front of a food stall. People eat standing and sitting on the narrow ledges right in front of the glass display. You don't sit and settle. You stay inside the follow, behind the glass. I see lobsters and hanging meat. Alive, bright, completely visible. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is sterilized. Life stands exactly as it is. A plate is handed to me. Steam rises. I can see the kitchen through the glass. This is not just food. This is memory. Colonial cuisine demands standardization. This food refuses it.
Crisis is that, right?
The flowers here come from before colonial rule. The language of bargaining doesn't come from the center. The rhythm doesn't flow state planning. This, too, is a form of resistance, cultural continuity. Philosopher Gilles Deleuze writes, "When power takes life as its target, life becomes resistance to power." What this means is simple. Power seeks to control life, bodies, space, time. But life, simply by being lived, resists that control. Colonialism did exactly this. It targeted life itself. Land, labor, culture were all made measurable and manageable. Yet here, in this market, life remains excessive. It spills beyond what power can fully organize. Stalls are not where they are supposed to be. Food is not served the way it's supposed to be. People don't behave properly. This market is not governed from a single center. There is something anarchic here. Small scale, scattered, centerless. There is also something socialist here, in shared labor, in standing side by side, in mutual dependence. This market neither fully obeys the state nor fully surrenders to capital. That is why it's alive. That is why it's disturbing. When I look at the world today, I see the same logic repeating itself. New dictators, new faces of old colonialism. Mega projects, sterile cities, money flowing upward, while the periphery is silenced, and yet this market responds. This is the answer of a space. We are here. You ruled from above, you planned, you tried to control. We lived from below, in the street, at the counter, inside everyday life. When power targeted life, life slipped out of its hands. Because the more power grows, the more resistance grows, like takes orders from none of you. You are pharaohs, trying to replace God.